Right, so next up we have another trifecta hand of Swirl Slime, Baphomet, and Night Howling, except again, just like in the Kali Yuga example, we're not going to make the trifecta, we're going to be making Caesar and Siegfried, which is a great field to have because negation and a recurring board is always nice to have, especially if you can recur the negation twice, because you can negate something in the main phase 1 if they destroy your field and they get summoned back in the main phase 2 and they tried to do something in the main phase 2. I think you can use Siegfried again, let me just check for you guys. Siegfried, blah 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 blah. No, you can only use its effect once per turn, my bad. So, yeah, you can get one negation and your field's protected. It also allows you to get a Caesar out so you can search the gates. So yeah, what we're going to do here is the usual Swirl plus Baphomet into Temujin, normal summon the Howling, and get back the Baphomet. You'll find that this starts off a lot of combos because these three cards are the heart and soul of the deck, to be honest. But from here, Baphomet's going to make Temujin level 5, which is a rather odd number you'll ever make, the most odd number you'll ever make a DD become. But from here you'll go Alexander, and then summon back Baphomet and Night Howling, using their effects. Then you're going to use Baphomet, and Baphomet's going to make Alexander level 4, which allows you to make Caesar with Alexander, and it allows you to synchro off into Siegfried using Temujin and Howling. And as I said, this is a great turn 1 field, letting you search gate because of Caesar, and also letting you negate a spell or trap. This is a lot better than the trifecta play, and it's only become possible since Siegfried was made into a card. The trifecta plays better for damage, but this plays better on the first turn when you want to stun your opponent. So yeah, this is another trifecta play. We call them trifecta plays because it summons the three kings usually, but usually the trifecta play is made up of Swirl, Baphomet, and Howling, just so you guys know. Okay, so this will be the final trifecta play that I'm going to go through. For this one you do need Copernicus. You cannot have Baphomet to do this combo, and it does use up your Swirl Slime, which can be a downside, because if you use up your Swirl Slime, you can't use it in future turns to use Ragnarok to rebuild your field if it does get taken apart next turn. So that's the only downside to this combo, but it's good to do post turn 1, because that's when you want to be making pushes and not really caring about defense all that much. So yeah, it's going to start off like any other trifecta combo. Another thing, you'll get gate on your on the turn. You won't have to wait for Caesar to die to get gate. That's the upside to this combo. But yeah, so what we're going to start with is we're going to fuse Slime with Copernicus, which is the usual start. We're going to normal summon Howling as usual. We're going to summon Copernicus as usual. And instead of dumping Baphomet here, Copernicus is going to dump Kepler. And the reason for this is Kepler is now going to search his gate once we fuse Synchro into Alexander, because Temujin's going to revive as Kepler. And remember Seagot, guys, you want to put Kepler as Chainlink 1 and Alexander as Chainlink 2. Reason being that now they can't negate Kepler, so you will definitely get your gate search. So if they do negate Alexander for whatever reason, you do have backup plans with your gate. You can search something like, I don't know, Ragnarok, and then you can banish the Swirl and summon Ragnarok, getting back your Alexander. So yeah, to continue the play, Alexander summons back any DD in your graveyard really. If you want to make Siegfried, you get Howling. If you don't, you can use any DDs. But then Kepler searches gate, gate searches Baphomet, and then you use up the Swirl in your graveyard to summon Baphomet. And here you can either make Howling level 4, or you can make Kepler level 4 to make either Siegfried or make Caesar. Here I make Caesar, but usually you'll want to make Siegfried in this situation because you already have gate up and you don't need to search gate. So don't make Caesar unless you can use Caesar's grave effect this turn, or you need the battle immunity, say you want to crash something into another monster with the same attack. But yeah, this is the last trifecta play I'll go through. It leaves you with a lone DD as well. It can be the Kepler or the Howling for you to use again in another play. So say you have Swamp King, now you can fuse that with another DD. Okay, so for this play we're going to make a Siegfried Caesar as our final field, but we won't be using the trifecta this time. We'll be using our good old friends Lamia and Swirl along with Baphomet. As I say, these three cards are really central pieces of the deck. They can always be used to make practically any field you want. So without further ado, let's make Caesar and Siegfried on with these 3 cards. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Swirl Slime's effect, and we're going to fuse it with Lamia, summoning Temujin. We're then going to banish the Swirl Slime to summon Baphomet. Temujin is going to summon back our Lamia. Now Baphomet's going to make Lamia level 4, and instead of making Siegfried here, we're going to overlay into Caesar. Bear in mind that for this combo, you will need 2 Caesars in your extra deck. I only run 1 at the moment, but this combo needs 2 Caesars for it to function. So what we're going to do here is we're going to detach from Caesar the Lamia. We're going to bury Caesar with Lamia. Caesar will then search his Gate because of his effect. Gate will then activate, and we can search the Night Howling that we need. As I say, he's also a central piece of the deck, which is why you should always be running 3 if you're not running 3 Newtons. We're going to normal summon the Howling. Howling is going to summon back Baphomet. Then Baphomet's going to make Temujin level 7. And from here we can make Alexander, and then make Siegfried. Alexander will revive the Baphomet in the graveyard. And then we can use Baphomet 1 final time, making Alexander level 4, and overlaying into Caesar. Now, as I said earlier, this is a really good opening field because you can save your Siegfried, and Siegfried can negate spells and traps once a turn, which is awesome against your opponent because then you can stun them on their first turn or whatever turn this might be. So yeah, that's another way to make Caesar and Siegfried. So now we get into the Crystal Wing portion of the 3 card combos. Crystal Wing can be made with a combination of double Lamia and Swirl Slime. So what we're going to do here is we're going to fuse the Swirl Slime to the Lamia, making Temujin. Swirl Slime's going to banish itself, summoning Lamia. Temujin will trigger, summoning the other Lamia. Lamia plus Temujin into Alexander. Now remember here, we haven't normal summoned yet, so if you do have other DDs in your hand, feel free to normal summon them to grab back a Lamia and go for more synchro plays. But say if we don't, we'll just continue this play and we'll go straight into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which is the best level 8 synchro in the game in my opinion. Because it can stop monster effects, which are very prevalent, and it's unbeatable in battle to level 5 or higher monsters unless its effect gets negated. So it's incredibly strong, especially when paired with a Siegfried on field, which the next 2 or 3 combos we'll get into, so I'll see you there. Alright, so here we are, we're going to make a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon and a Siegfried. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate Swirl Slime, and we're going to fuse it with Kepler to summon Temujin. Swirl Slime's going to banish itself, summoning Lamia. Temujin's going to summon Kepler, and Kepler this time is going to search Swamp King instead of Gate. Now, bear in mind this is the there's 2 versions of this using the same cards. This one is for if you, for example, already have a Gate on the field, or generally speaking, if you don't want to lose your contract, you don't want to grave a Gate, for example. So from here, Synchro Alexander, activate Swamp King, fuse Temujin to the Kepler on the field to make Dark. Alexander will trigger, summoning back Lamia, Synchro into Crystal Wing, and then you bury the Swamp King or another DD left in your hand, and with Dark you make Siegfried. Remember, this is the one that leaves you without contracts on the field if you don't want the Gate burn, or if you already have a Gate out and you don't want to you don't need the Kepler search, basically. But the better combo I will go into now. Alright, so the other way the 3 card combo can go is fusing Swirl Slime with Lamia this time. It doesn't really matter which one you fuse with, you're going to summon the other one with Swirl, and when it summons back Kepler, Kepler is going to search for Gate this time. Now this is for if you don't have Gate, if this one puts less resources in your graveyard than the other one, whereas this one searches out Gate and keeps Gate on the field for you. So whichever one you need, whether you want more resources in your graveyard or if you want Gate, it's up to you. So we're going to use Gate and we're going to search Baphomet. We're going to then Synchro into Alexander, normal summon the Baphomet. Bear in mind the other one didn't use the normal summon, so you can go into other plays that require the normal summon if you do the other combo. Alexander is going to trigger summoning back Lamia, and then we're going to Synchro into a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Do not use Baphomet yet. If you use Baphomet now, you're going to be locked into DDs and you can't summon Crystal Wing, which is dead annoying. So yeah, summon Crystal Wing first. and then use Baphomet on Kepler. Now, you can make him level 4 and go into Caesar here, which is a decent field. You have a Crystal Wing that when it dies at the end of the battle phase it can come back. But in this case we want to make Siegfried because double negation OP. So we're going to make Kepler level 7 instead of 4, and then we're going to bury the Baphomet with Lamia, and that will give us the level 7+1 to make Siegfried. And again, this is the better field with less resources in the graveyard. This is the better field, I feel. This is the one I usually use when I want Siegfried Caesar. You definitely want to attempt to make this first turn if you can make it first turn, because your opponent has to play super hard around this, because you can negate a spell trap and you can negate a monster effect. So basically they have to waste 2 of their resources getting through this field, and that's even if they can get through this field, because if they summon a big monster that has a high level, you can't get over Crystal Wing. And Curse King will give you life points if he dies anyway, and you can get him back with things such as Ragnarok on the following turn. So yeah, this is the Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon with Siegfried combo. Right, so onto the 4-card combos. These combos, the first 2 that I'm going to show you, are going to go into a Siegfried and a Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. Now, strictly that's better than Crystal Wing and Siegfried. However, it requires 1 extra card to do, so whether it's worth it or not is up to you. But I don't feel it's worth it, which is why I dropped Abyss Ragnarok from my deck. Not Abyss Ragnarok, sorry. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss from my deck. I would advise, if you were going to run one of these 2 boss monsters, to run the Stardust Warrior, which I'll get into after Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, because that stops Pendulums, and Pendulums are running rampant right now. So onto the plays. This is the first variant. You need to open with Gate, Swirl Slime, Baphomet, Howling. Really, Gate's just there to search the missing piece, which is Lamia. So what we're going to do, Gate, search Lamia. So basically, you can open with any of those 4, so Lamia, Howling, Swirl, Baphomet, open any 3 of those in a gate, and you search into Lamia. You can also open those 4 and an extra DD, but that's technically a 5-card combo. So we'll continue. We're going to Swirl Slime plus Lamia, sorry, with plus Baphomet into Dark. Swirl Slime's going to summon the Lamia. We're then going to Synchro into Scarlight. Lamia is then going to bury Gate, or any other DD left in your hand, to summon itself and go into Abyss. We're then going to normal summon the Night Howling, summon back Baphomet. Baphomet's going to use its effect, make Howling level 4, and from there we can make Siegfried. Now bear in mind you could also make Caesar so that you can get a contract if you want to bury it, but this is strictly better because you have 2 negations just like last time, except you've used 1 extra card in your hand, which is why it's not as good as Crystal Wing in my opinion. Crystal Wing is just all around a better combo, but this also stops another spell or trap as well as a monster, so he does more for what it's worth. He can also summon back Lamias if he kills something in battle, but you don't have a Lamia left in your graveyard in this combo, so that doesn't come into play. Yeah, so on to the next one. Okay, so for this one, you're going to need 1 of each of your major combo pieces except 1 of them. So you can have you need Swirl Slime definitely, you need Kepler definitely, you need Baphomet I think, and then it's between Night Howling and Lamia that you need Lamia. It's between Baphomet and Howling to grab. What you do here is Swirl Slime into Lamia with into Temujin with Lamia, banish Swirl Slime, summon the Kepler searches the gate, Temujin summons back Lamia. We then Synchro into Scarlight, and then we use Gate. Gate searches what we're missing, let's pretend we're missing Howling, and then Lamia dumps dumps Baphomet, and then we Synchro into Abyss, normal summon the Howling again, get the Baphomet, and make Siegfried. Now, this combo slightly better because we have Gate. We don't need to have Gate in the opening hand, sorry. We just need Kepler, which, as I say, those 2 cards worm their way into a lot of higher end combos when you need 4 or 3 cards. So yeah, this, as I say before, isn't as straightly good as Crystal Wing. but it's there if you want it. Next up, we're going to do the Stardust Warrior combos, so bear with me for that one. Alright, let's get into the last combo that I'm going to do in this combo video. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more DDD videos. I can do other decks if you guys want to suggest them in the comments. I can try building them. You can give me pointers if I don't know the deck already. But yeah, here goes the last combo. This is going to summon us not only Cypher Lord Omega or Siegfried to negate something or to recycle a banished card, it's also going to get us a Stardust Warrior to negate Pendulum Summons. So here we go. So what we're going to do is start off, we'll summon Kepler. Oh, by the way, for this combo you will need Lamia, Necro Slime, and Kepler. Now, Lamia and Swirl Slime, either one of them can be replaced with... Lamia and Necro Slime, either one of them can be replaced with Swirl Slime. But basically, whatever you're missing, Kepler will search. So Kepler searches Gate. Gate searches what you're missing, which in this case is Swirl. Swirl will fuse with Necro Slime, making Temujin. Then Swirl banishes itself to summon Lamia. And then this triggers Temujin. Temujin will bring back Necro Slime. Then we'll do Necro Slime plus Temujin plus Lamia into either Siegfried or Omega or any other level 8 you want to go into that can help you in the situation. I usually like to go for Omega because then I can put this Swirl Slime back in the graveyard for next turn if I want to search, say, a Ragnarok to rebuild my field or something. Yeah, so I go into Omega, Lamia. I send Gate. Bear in mind, if you have 2 extra cards in your hand, and 9 times out of 10, at least one of these is going to be another DD or contract, so you can discard one of these to summon it back to keep your Gate. So Lamia gets summoned, and then we synchro into Formula. The great thing I love about this combo is because Formula synchron's now in your deck, you get a +1 off him. It's not only you're getting a +1 off Gate, you're getting a +1 off Formula too. And then we end our turn on this. We're not going to synchro straight into a Stardust Warrior. Reason being is now we can, during the standby phase, activate Omega's effect. So Omega can put back either Lamia or the Swirl Slime. I usually like to put back the Swirl Slime because then if I still have a Gate on the field I can bring Ragnarok into the equation. But if I don't have a Gate, I like to put Lamia back so that I can have more options on the next day if I do draw a monster. In this case I'm going to put Swirl back. And then from there, your opponent makes his move. If he has Raigeki, you do not want to make your Stardust Warrior. You're going to use Omega, you're going to banish something in his hand instead, and then you're only going to lose Formula and you'll get Omega back during your next turn. But if he's going to set the scales with Pendulums, you can synchro straight into a Stardust Warrior. Now bear in mind as well, if you have any other leftover monsters on the field, say you have a Temujin left on the field from another combo, or you have, I don't know, a Copernicus or something, you can run other synchro monsters that you can fuse, they can synchro with Formula Synchron on their turn to hurt them. I like to run Metaphys Horus for this reason if I do run a Formula Synchron, because then if you have a Copernicus face on the field, you can synchro in their turn and steal something of theirs and negate something of theirs at the same time, which is really nice. But here, we're going to pretend the opponent did something like set some pendulum scales, so we need to stop that pendulum summon coming. So we're going to activate Formula Synchron's effect and go straight into Stardust Warrior. And from here, if your opponent pendulum summons, you can tribute him, negate the pendulum summons and send him to the graveyard, and you get Stardust Warrior back in the end phase as well, which is nice. So this is better than Abyss, in my opinion, because it's only a 3-card combo as well, not 4 cards. So it's not that difficult to do. It also makes you run Formula, and Formula is always a great +1 to have if you have a bad hand and you can only summon Lamia in a level 1, for example. So running Formula is actually really nice in the deck. I would run it over something like Minerva, and then probably this over the Dante, keeping the Beatrice, because Beatrice doesn't die 9 times out of 10 because they fear the Dante. So yeah, this has been the DD combo videos. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, give me a like, give me feedback down in the comment section. And this is Antimatter signing out. I hope you enjoyed. Peace. Right, so a surprise contender. This combo I thought of literally last night, so that's why it's kind of plugged in right at the end of the video. This is probably the best combo you can do in DDDs on the first turn, and all you need for it is a gate, and then 3 of the following 4 cards: Copernicus, Swirl Slime, Lamia, and any other level 4 DD. It can be another Copernicus, it can be Orthros, or it can be Baphomet. Any work for this combo, because you're not going to be using Baphomet's effect at all. So the way it works is you activate Gate, and Gate searches you your missing piece, whatever it might be. Maybe you're missing the level 4, so I grabbed Orthros. So you're going to use Swirl Slime, and you're going to fuse it with Copernicus, and they're going to both become Temujin. And then you're going to banish your Swirl Slime, summon Lamia, Temujin's going to summon your Copernicus, and your Copernicus is going to dump Necro Slime this time. Next up, we're going to Synchro Summon using Lamia and Temujin, summon Alexander. We're then going to normal summon Baphomet, which will trigger Alexander, and Alexander will summon back the Lamia. Now, we'll Synchro Lamia with Alexander to make Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. And here we can overlay for any rank 4, but usually you'll want to go with Caesar just because, well, field protection is great. So we'll overlay for Caesar. Next up, Lamia. We're going to send Gate, but if you do have an extra DD in hand, you can send the DD in your hand to keep your Gate around so you can use it next turn. But with this field, it's a pretty solid field. Your opponent will have a really hard time getting through it. So what we're going to do is going to summon Lamia back, sending Gate, and then we're going to activate Necro Slime. Necro Slime will banish anything left over in your grave. Usually you'll want to detach something from Caesar. You'll probably detach Copernicus or Baphomet, send it to the graveyard, and fuse it with Necro Slime. But as I said earlier in the video, Dev Pro really doesn't let you use Caesar on the first turn for some reason, don't know why. So in this case I'm going to be banishing Alexander, and we're going to summon Dark out. And then Lamia plus Dark is going to equal Siegfried. Now the reason this is the best field in the game, you have a monster effect negation, you have a spell and trap effect negation, you have a recurring field if they do somehow get over the first 2 effects, so you can have them around for the next turn to even be trickier. And if your last card in your hand is a Solemn Notice, they're pretty much locked out of their first turn of the game, especially if this is turn 1. If it's later in the game, this still works incredibly well. So this is the best combo of the deck that I've thought of so far. If any of you can think of anything better, feel free to leave your comments down below. But thanks for watching. This is me out. Peace.